Tēnā koutou katoa, no mai, haere mai, and welcome to Rugby League Park for round 13 of the Swindale Shield. And whoever wrote this draw, well, they've set up an almighty beauty here. It is technically called the Swindale Shield Final. And if it's anything like the bylaws, they've changed about 4 times this week, so there was an update. Apparently, if OBU win, it will just be a shared title potentially between these two sides. But we're seeing history on the line here. Old Boys University have won the Shield multiple times. Paremata-Plimmerton have never won it in their existence. They're one of 3 clubs in the Wellington region not to win the Swindale Shield. Can today they break that duck? They've only had 1 loss this season, round 1 against Upper Hutt. They led for 79 minutes until a Tynan Barrett penalty resulted in an Upper Hutt win. And since then, they've dominated and upset the Wellington rugby landscape. And what a fantastic second half it was when they played Petone last week. 19-0 at half-time. In the space of 2 minutes, it became 32 points to 19, a final score of 53-24. Paremata-Plimmerton have bussed out 3 lots of buses from Ngāti Taua Domain with supporters. They've crowded the grandstand. They've crowded the other side of Rugby League Park. And it's just got that sense of something special about to happen. Joining me in co-commentary today is injured Premier referee Ethan Loveridge, and also making his debut on commentary today, Luke Dunlop, young man that wants to give commentary a go. Ethan Loveridge, you were preparing for the Jubilee Cup second round. Tell us what happened at your Bronco test the other day.
Yeah, good afternoon, Brad. Good afternoon, Luke. It's just one of these things, unfortunately. We have a second round fitness test every year, and I was sort of part way through and went to turn off one leg, and unfortunately just redid my an old knee injury from my playing days. So these things happen. It's nice to have a change of scenery and nice to enjoy rugby from the grandstands for a change. It's a wonderful day here at Rugby League Park. There's a few clouds around, but hopefully the rain stays off. There's not a breath of wind. And we're really looking forward to a block-busting game here today.
And Luke, it's a pleasure to have you joining the Huddy Sports broadcast for the first time. You actually hail from Dunedin, and you've only just moved up from here, but what's your feelings of how you've seen the build-up to this game today?
Well, it's been a terrific event to be a part of so far. It's a pleasure to be here, and it looks like what we've got in store here is going to be a classic. It's my first Premier game here in Wellington, and can't wait to get it started.
Well, let's think about getting it started. Let's have a look at these two teams today. Let's start with the home side, Old Boys University. Fullback is Josh Morgan Ranui. The wings are Isaac Wilson and Tewehi Wright. The midfield is Tomosi Palu and Reece Plumtree. Fly half is Tom Henderson. 9, the captain, Carl Preston. 8 is Tana Manini Lokeni. 7 is Jack Riley. 6 is Dougal Perez. The locks have Connor Chatfield, Keegan Wright. In the front row is Nico Anderwill, Louis Calvert, and Samson Conafanesi. Paremata-Plimmerton, this is their roster, and this is their backline. Luke Carpenny is the fullback. The wings are Joe Filiafunga and the explosive Lewis Northcote. The midfield is Dal Sabaj and Ethan Webster Nonu. First 5 is Sam Clark. Ese Komafasai is the halfback. Luke Almeri is the 8. 7 is Christian Fa'ave, and 6 the captain, Tane McMillan Parata. The locks are Melanuma Liota and Kepa Sherrington. In the front row is James Coburn, Tony Coburn, and Pasaleo Tossi. Ethan, you've refereed a number of Premier games this year. Have you had the luxury of refereeing these two teams this year?
I've had the luxury of refereeing Paremata-Plimmerton this year. I refereed them against Avalon, and they were quite slow to start that day, but they really put on a clinic in the second half, and I think that's been the story of their season, is they play for the full 80 minutes, and they really dominate teams in the second half. OBU, I haven't refereed them, but I was AR last week when they lost to Upper Hutt in the end quite narrowly. They probably should have lost that by a bit more. Upper Hutt will be disappointed by that as we see the teams come out onto the field now, Brad.
Old Boys University without their talisman, Callum Harkin. He broke his hand last week. They actually had to pull his fingers in and then out to reconnect them. That's how bad his injury was. Also, Jan Lum is their winger. He's also out with a broken hand as well, and they all happen in the space of a very short period of time in that game against Upper Hutt. Physical game last week, Ethan. You were there. And it seems both teams took heavy injury tolls in that game.
Yeah, it was. Callum Harkin actually refused to go off. He said to the coach, and I'm quoting this, he said, "I can't catch, I can't tackle, but I'll kick goals." And Glenn Champion very quickly pulled him off. And like you say, Brad, it was a terrible injury and they've been ravaged today. So it'll be interesting to see how the OBU backline operate today. They're obviously missing some strong leaders, but either way, we've got a classic game here.
Classic game, and it's a special occasion for the man in the middle today, Hamish Mixted, refereeing his 100th Premier game. He refereed a Jubilee Cup final in 2013. It was a pleasure to have on the Huri Hui on Thursday. All the best go, Hamish, in your debut. He's also on the Wellington Rugby Board of Directors, and he looks after the finances, which are vitally important in Wellington Rugby this year. And he'll be ably assisted by Zinni McCormick and Jack Sargentina, wearing black shorts today. So we are all set here at Rugby League Park. It will be Old Boys University kicking to the northern end of Rugby League Park, and Paremata-Plimmerton to receive the ball. Referee Mixted looks, checks his watch, and this special match is underway. History on the line. It has been knocked on by Old Boys University, contesting in the air. And we're going to have the first scrum very early on in this match. And this will be quite an early battle here, even at scrum time. Old Boys University, a relatively young sort of forward pack. But Paremata-Plimmerton do have some experience in there.
Yeah, Paremata-Plimmerton have got some real experience in that front row. A few players came from the Axemen, and the OBU have traditionally always had a very strong scrum, so it'll be interesting to see how we go as we set up.
Well, it's our first scrum, and this is going to be a good battle between the two halfbacks, Cole Preston and Ese Komafasai. Ese Komafasai previously played for Norths. He scored a hat-trick before half-time when he played for Norths against Old Boys University in 2018. Here goes Sam Clark, gets that boot underway, kicks it downfield. It's in the hands of Josh Morgan Ranui. He decides to take it up. He's got Dal Sabaj, who misses him. And another missed tackle there by Va'ave, and they now 8 away from the line. Preston reaching in, fires it out to his left, into the hands of Jack Riley, the grey headgear, right on the 10-metre mark. Preston again, fires it out to Tamasi Palu. Good offload in the tackle out to right. And here goes Old Boys University. But the ball has been lost and has been picked up by Paremata-Plimmerton. They're roughly 20 metres away from halfway centre field. Komafasai passes out to Tossi. Saldabaj finds Clark. Clark decides to have a run, but he's got himself into heavy Old Boys University traffic. The pressure is on. The crowd is on fire. Here we go. Yeah? Komafasai out to Sabaj. Kicks her high. And Tom Henderson will just watch this comfortably go into touch. And it's going to be a line out here for Old Boys University. 10 metres inside Paremata-Plimmerton's half on the grandstand touchline. And Luke, a good start here by Old Boys University. This is what they need to do against a very talented Paremata-Plimmerton side.
Yeah, exciting start. Both teams lost a bit of possession there, turned it over as the throw there looks to be not straight. Or in fact, we're just going to have a reset there.
Hamish Mixed just setting the gap and setting his standards early. Just shows you how much experience he's really got.
So Louis Calvert with the ball. He's had a good year, has the hooker for Old Boys University. Wasn't happy with that throw, but play on is the call. Wilson breaks through and breaks open centre field as Luke Wilson powers over like he does with his bench pressing. He's only 8 away from the line. They fire it out. Henderson, high pass over the top to Plumtree. Old Boys University on the board. And that is exciting play there, Luke Dunlop.
Yep, we had questions around the... Oh, sorry, Luke.
No worries, mate. It was an exciting skip pass there out to the wing, and he flies in for the early first try for Old Boys. They get on the board first with the 5-pointer. It'll be a tough conversion to follow up and make it 7.
Yeah, it was an incredibly exciting start there, wasn't it? And we were having questions early on about how OBU's backline was going to operate, but they're clearly not afraid to use the ball and clearly not afraid to get it out to the wingers and use those gaps well. I thought Paremata-Plimmerton had a really good, strong scrum in that first scrum, so it'll be interesting to see how the battle goes from there.
So Tom Henderson taking over the kicking duties for Old Boys University. He's a product of Kavanagh College in Dunedin, but it's not called Kavanagh College anymore, Luke. What's it called now?
I'll tell you what, to be fair, I didn't know that. It was Kavanagh College when I was there only about 5 years ago. Or at least that's what we called it. So, yep, hometown boy for me. Going to take the conversion here, see if he can put him 7-0 up to start the game.
This is his 23rd game. Made his debut 2020 against Wainui. Conversion is away to the left of the post. The score remained 5-0 with roughly about 4 minutes gone into this first half. And Paremata-Plimmerton, they were actually, Petone scored first ahead of them on Saturday last week, Ethan, but they certainly know how to bounce back. But this is a different story now. This is for the Swindale Shield.
Yep, and like you said earlier, Brad, OBU have won the Swindale Shield multiple times, and Paremata-Plimmerton have never been in this position. So, like you say, there's still 75 minutes or so left. It's a long day ahead, but certainly the first taste will put OBU's confidence well ahead of theirs.
So the restart, Old Boys University, right on the touchline inside their 22. And they decide to wrestle it forward into this forward pack of Paremata-Plimmerton. Preston goes for the box kick, high under it. It's well taken there by Valiafunga, comes into the middle. Here they go, Sam Clark has a run, finds the dangerous Louis Northcote. He passes out to Ethan Webster-Nonu. Putting on the dance moves early is Webster-Nonu. Please for a turnover. The ball has been lost, and it's going to be in the hands of Old Boys University. The try scorer Plumtree picking up the scraps, coming through, and it had been penalised, Old Boys University. And that is for holding on. That time looked like Isaac Wilson got himself isolated there, Ethan.
Yeah, he did, and OBU won the turnover in the exact same way, but Hamish Mexted played away from it. Unfortunately, in that occasion, OBU didn't let go, and Paraplim are rightly awarded the penalty as we go for a line out just inside OBU's 22.
So the flag of Zinni McCormick comes up. The first line out for Paremata-Plimmerton. The Hammerheads inside the Southern 22. And it's going to be Tony Coburn to throw this ball into the line. Tony Coburn is actually a firefighter during the day. Played for Tawa 2017 to 20, and also a few games for Wellington 2021 to 22. His brother James is also wearing jersey 1 for Paremata-Plimmerton, also played for Tawa and Wellington. And here's a story about James. In 2020, he was the winner of Second Chance Charlie. Remember that TV show, Luke?
Definitely not.
Didn't last very long for a start. It's where they gave the opportunity for a player to experience professional rugby. It's a loose ball, but it's been picked up by O'Meary. And there's an advantage being played here against Old Boys University. Kamafasai, a big barrel run here by Tossi. Kamafasai again, comes out to Sherrington. Sherrington had good impact when he came off the bench in the second half last week. And no advantage. And Old Boys University offside. Tapped quickly by Carpenny. Carpenny out to Tossi. Bundles over Henderson. He scores. That is a brilliant try of utter might and power. And Paremata-Plimmerton struck the board there, Ethan.
As like you say, Brad, like utter might and power, much like the famous racehorse, Paremata-Plimmerton bounced straight back. And this game is on. I've not seen a Paremata-Plimmerton team strike back that quickly before. Boy, we are in for an exciting game today.
Well, Tossi himself, he's actually part of the Hurricanes. It's a product of Rotorua Boys High School. Now, Luke, most teams, when they have a penalty directly in front of the post, will take the shot at goal. But Carpenny there backed himself.
Yeah, well, I think he saw the opportunity to take the quick tap. The Old Boys there struggling to get back on the try line as the conversion is slotted through nicely. And Plimmerton strike back shortly after conceding, and we're all tied.
7-5 is the score here at Rugby League Park. Paremata-Plimmerton ahead. And they struck back very quickly. When we look at this Old Boys University dugout here, Ethan Loveridge, which is directly in front of us, well, you thought you might be watching an episode of MASH, considering the amount of injured players that they're here.
Yeah, there are a few. Unfortunately, it's all a part of rugby, isn't it? And like you say, our referees, clubs, teams everywhere around are suffering injuries, particularly this time of the year.
Restart secured by Paremata-Plimmerton. High, Gary Owen comes in from Sam Clark. And it's been picked up by Henderson, and he juggles it backwards. Looks for options, passes out to Wilson. And Wilson's met in a good tackle by Northcote. Preston has to avoid Plumtree slamming into him when he went to pass the ball. Reaches in again. Finds Palu. Tomasi Palu's probably retired about 10 times. And he's back out there again today for Old Boys University. Oh, it's been charged down that time there by Leota. And it went out on the full. And it's going to be a line out here for Old Boys University, 10 metres inside their own half. We'll also be bringing you updates from the other scores from around the grounds. And we'll see what the scores are in some of those games, because it's really interesting, Ethan, is that not only do we have this big game here, but there's still a battle for the top 8, particularly between positions 5th and 8. And 9, actually, if you include Huddle Boys Marist.
Yeah, that's correct, Brad. And we'll, as this game progresses, we'll bring those scores to you if they're available. But there's nothing much going on at the moment, but we'll bring that to you as quick as we can. Sam Clark catches the ball.
Clark looks to get around right to Wehi Wright, who is the chairman of Old Boys University for 2023, taking on some extra responsibilities on the wing this afternoon. Here goes Paremata-Plimmerton. Carpenny selecting the Wellington wider training group. Wrestle to ground, and there's some concerns in the back play here. Looks like it might be Louis Calvert, the hooker for Old Boys University, down in play. McMillan Parata, wrestle by Henderson. He's 6 out from the 22. Sherrington passes out to the damaging runner that is Pasalia Tossi. Kamafasai looks for his options. Cut open by Emso Webster Nonu! The gates opened in the Red Sea. And Ethan Webster Nonu is on the board.
OBU really lacking in defence there. There were holes all over the place. Paremata-Plimmerton's halfback saw the gap. He got the call from Webster Nonu, and that was probably the easiest try he's scored this year. Paremata-Plimmerton extend their lead.
Yeah, it was a great bust up the middle again from Plimmerton. And again, they scored the second try here today for themselves, and they have a chance now to take it out to what looks to be a 14-5 lead if the conversion goes over.
Well, the conversion will more than likely go over, Luke. This is Dale Sabaj, 1,079 career points. He's the cousin of Wes Houston, now playing his trade over in Edinburgh. His brother Matt Houston also played for Old Boys University and Wellington. Dale Sabaj, he's won Jubilee Cups with Old Boys University and Norths. Will we win one this year with Paremata-Plimmerton? The conversion is successful, and the score is 14-0.
Yeah, well, as the teams make their way back to halfway, take the opportunity to mention the sun is just peering out from the clouds here at Rugby League Park, and there is the slightest amount of rain coming down here. Hopefully it doesn't get any more significant, and we can continue to have some good, fast, free-flowing rugby here in the final.
Yeah, we all hope that rain stays away.
We don't want it raining on this parade. Here we go. Henderson. It's play back underway. Oh, it's knocked on there by Paremata-Plimmerton. And mainly pretty good at their restarts. Bit of push and shove going on between both of them, saying hello to each other. Referee Mixted brings proceedings to an end, and we're going to have a scrum here for Old Boys University. Score is 14-5 with 12 minutes or so in this match gone. And really, well, the first 5 minutes was Old Boys University, but really Paremata-Plimmerton have really dominated here, and they've got a real concern here now, Old Boys University. Louis Calvert, who's been their star hooker, and he's actually been selected into the Wellington wider training group. It's actually on the sideline here, getting his calf or ankle looked like attended to, and he doesn't look in good shape there, Ethan.
No, he was limping off there, and it really doesn't look good. As Paremata-Plimmerton really dominant of that last scrum, and they got the knock-on advantage as they look to spread wide.
Well, they spread it right, and here goes Carpenny. Carpenny slammed to ground, but he manages to get the ball. There's an advantage being played here for Paremata-Plimmerton. As he comes for Sai. Out to Falia Funga, but here's the penalty. And there was the use of the shoulder there. The contact, Ethan, that's another area of the game where the referee is a lot tougher on.
Yep, no arms, and Hamish Mixted making that very clear in his secondary signals. And if there's any young budding referees out there that need some inspiration, watch Hamish, because his secondary signals are clearer than the sun. So Paremata-Plimmerton really dominant once again in that last scrum, and they caused the knock on, and they got the advantage, and as a result, OBU maybe just getting a little bit frustrated there. No use of the arms in that tackle as we look to set the line out up just on halfway. exactly as Zinny McCormick points out.
Well, Hamish Schmickstead, he does have a very good secondary skills there and display. I think David Walsh has this better secondary signals. Hamish Schmickstead, 100 games. And Coburn with the ball. Target comes, Sheraton comes up, secures it. And he takes it into contact himself, but he's lost the ball. It's been knocked on, and Zinny McCormick saw that one, the eagle-eyed Scotsman. And I was saying to Hamish Schmickstead on the Hurry Hui on Thursday, Ethan and Luke, that he might need to invest in a universal translator, having Zinny McCormick on the sideline.
Yeah, he might do. Zinny's a wonderful referee, and he's been refereeing a long time, and he's been in New Zealand for 20-odd years, and his Scottish accent has, if anything, gotten stronger, which is something quite incredible. But yeah, like we say, just Hamish says, just speak slowly, and otherwise it just sounds like a bunch of words. But otherwise he's a good ref.
Solid scrum from both sides as Old Boys take it out the back and look to get it wide, and there's a gap, and it's a bust up through the middle.
Josh Morgan-Ranui with the ball, an excellent break, but he's lost the ball. And much to the rapture of the Hammerhead supporters, it's going to be a scrum for Paremata-Plimmerton. And I'm sure that Western Embankment, more and more people are appearing. I'm sure there's people hiding in those trees up there too. There's a big crowd developing here at Paremata-Plimmerton for potential history. And let's have, while we're waiting for the scrum to set up, Ethan, you've got the Tri-Bap open. What are some of the scores from around the grounds?
We have got the Tri-Bap open. There's no scores from Puniki Wellington or Tawa Norths. Huddle Boys Marist are up by 19-0 over Avalon. MSP 3-0 over Petone. 14-5 here at Rugby League Park. And the Upper Hutt Rams 7-0 over Oriental Rongotai. No score, Wainui Jayville.
Wainui Jayville. Umanga Jensen and Ruben Love playing for Wainui again today. Super scrum here by Paremata-Plimmerton. They demolish the Billy Goats. The Hammerheads slam the Goats into oblivion. And the penalty has come for Parramatta. And Luke, that was a dominant scrum. Yeah. Tell us about that one there.
Yeah, got the initial shunt on, and it was a big one, and they run them right over, win the penalty, and they'll look to put this into touch inside the Old Boys half.
It's going to be a long day for OBU if they can't get these scrums right. Paremata-Plimmerton have been really dominant so far.
Well, in particular now losing Louis Northcote. That's a big blow for Old Boys University. His facts this season, 9 tries in 2023 is Louis Northcote. He's a product of Hutt International Boys School. Also works alongside Tony Hocker, who's also injured, Josh Salville. Salville BPM, that's an Instagram personal training program that both of them work alongside. Charged down by Paremata-Plimmerton. Ball's been picked up by Palu, and Palu taken into contact. 15 out from their own 22. Preston fires it back to Henderson. Henderson, cross kick. Bounces in front of Karpenny and Faleafaga. And Faleafaga surveys, gives it out to Karpenny. Karpenny kicks it through. Preston watches it, but he's under pressure from Karpenny. And he's been wrestled. 8 inside Paremata-Plimmerton territory. Here's Lorkenny. And Lorkenny wrapped up by his opposite number, Omeri, who celebrated his 50th game last weekend. Secured ball. And it's slow coming here for Old Boys University. They really are rattled here at their home paddock. They haven't lost here this year. Kick through by Morgan-Ranui. Wilson chasing after it. Oh, it's a loose ball. Can they get it? They secure it, and they just keep it inside the field of play. Here's the comment for Sai. Wrestled in front of his dugout. Old Boys University piling in with the forwards. There's some light rain descends here at Rugby League Park. Centre field, Nico Anderwill. They've got the Hammerhead stretched here. Can they get it out? The pass comes. No, it could have been picked up that time by Jack Rowley. But if he got the ball there, Luke Dunlop, it could have been a try.
Yeah, well, that was a huge opportunity. They've really been put under the pump by Plimmerton recently. And the little stab kick through got them good field position. They moved it wide, and the final pass, he couldn't hang on to it. That would have been a brilliant opportunity for Old Boys to get back in this game.
Yeah, it's a game of opportunities, isn't it? And if they don't take them, they're going to miss out. And as a result, Paremata-Plimmerton have now got a defensive scrum. So let's see how this one weighs up.
14-5 is the score. 19 minutes gone in the first half. Advantage Paremata-Plimmerton. Old Boys University have just shown just there that they are capable of getting an opening. And they're lucky to have these facilities, Old Boys University, considering where they used to play. Neanville Park and Kandala, that was a horror of a ground, that one, Ethan Loveridge.
Yeah, it was. It was rock hard in the summer. It never really got soft, and then it became an absolute bog partway through the season as OBU stand up in that scrum, and Hamish Mexted's deciding to have a reset, and as they flankers, it might have been Tane McMillan-Parata there saying hello to his opposite number. Once again, Hamish Mexted just blows his whistle a couple of times and calms proceedings.
Yep, well, we're going to have a reset of the scrum here, Ethan, being a referee. What are the intricacies you're looking here at scrum time as a referee? We've already seen Plimmerton get a big shunt on in the previous scrum.
Yeah, look, all we're really after is actually the art of scrummaging is quite difficult, and I'm still struggling to understand it at times too. But if we see a square, straight push with all the body positions and body heights positive, then you'll get your just reward. And Paremata-Plimmerton have really put Old Boys University under pressure there. Their props are both sort of buckling and not staying square and that sort of thing, and that's why Paremata-Plimmerton have been rewarded justly for their efforts so far.
Light rain still drops down here at Rugby League Park. And we're finally going to get a scrum underway. Come off for Sai, feeds. Strong platform again for Paremata-Plimmerton. Fire it out to Sam Clark. He kicks it across the field. Can Louis Lufko get us a collision with Isaac Wilson? And Wilson comes up trumps, the personal trainer at Les Mills in Wellington. Loose ball picked up by Tamasi Palu. Sabaj tries to get over the top, but to no avail. And there's a penalty advantage being played here for Paremata-Plimmerton. Dougal Peltiers is slammed to the ground. But we're coming back for the penalty. Offside is the call from referee Mexted. And for Old Boys University, an opportunity for them to plug the corner here, Ethan.
Yeah, not sure that was the smartest decision by Sam Clark there to do a defensive cross-field kick. It's a big risk, big reward, but unfortunately, Paremata-Plimmerton were put very quickly under pressure by that kick, and now OBU have a line out 5 metres out from the Paraplim line.
Yeah, well, this is the opportunity here for Old Boys. The line out on the 5 metre line. Do we fancy the push over, Ethan?
Yeah, I think we do. It's going to be a really good battle. The scrum's been a big battle. Let's see if the rolling maul's going to do the same thing. We're just looking for a ball. There we go.
Well, lucky we got a ball here, because if it goes over the fences here at Rugby League Park, it could be behind us. It goes straight down a bank. So there's a big drop here at Rugby League Park. The throw from Holbrook, the replacement hooker. They put the ball into quarantine and they look to drive it over. Paremata-Plimmerton slow down the Billy Goats advance. There's a wrestle going on in the middle. It's physical, it's dire, but Old Boys University are plugging closer to the line. It's a smack on the bum by Cole Preston as they advance to the line. Have they got the ball down? Old Boys University is held up, and it's going to be a goal line dropout. And Luke Dunlop, some courageous defence there by Paremata-Plimmerton.
Yeah, well, it's a good effort. It's always difficult to organise yourselves coming off the back of the rolling maul, and he did a good job getting the hand under the ball there, and they live to fight another day, Plimmerton here, as they'll drop out from the goal line.
Now, Ethan, this goal line dropout was a new variation that came in last year into rugby. I'm still a bit of a fan of, if you get held up, you still get the opportunity for a 5 metre scrum. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm a bit like you, Brad, initially. I was very sceptical, but I've actually come around to it. I think it actually gives the... it gives OBU now a really good attacking opportunity to potentially try again. Now, they've booted this down to halfway, which you don't see too often, but OBU now have got all this time and space to potentially use the ball to their liking as they look to plug the corner for a 50-22. No, not quite.
Well, that time not to be. Carpenny was in place, and he sends Old Boys University packing into their own half, and that's an almighty kick. That is a beautiful kick. It's not going to be a 50-22. It landed outside the 22. But Old Boys University, they do have some kicking beauties in their team, but last week, Sam Clark and Dale Sabaj and Luke Carpenny caused havoc at Ngāti Toa Domain for Petone. In particular, Sam Clark, well, many people call it an 80-22, what he did in that game last week. It was an almighty kick. Here we go. Ball's been lost, and it's going to be an advantage being played here for Paremata-Plimmerton for the knock-on. Kama Fasai out to Tossi. Centre field is the ball of O'Meary. Takes into contact, supported by McMillan Parata. It's slow coming here again. Ethan Webster Nonu. This time, no gaps open for him this time. Sabaj changes direction. Out to Sherrington. Runs into Anderwell. And it's going to be a slow passage build up here. Here goes Sabaj again. Kicks it through. There's runners chasing after it, but can they get there in time? No, the touchline wins. And it's going to be a line out here for Old Boys University in a difficult position here. Luke Dunlop only about 5 away from their own try line.
Yeah, well, it all stemmed from that defensive effort to hold the ball up. They got some good ground off the goal line dropout, and they've found themselves all the way up here in Old Boys territory, looking for a chance to bust over and score another try and put the pressure back on Old Boys.
So a line out for Old Boys University. James Holbrook, product of St. Pat's Town. Previously started out his club rugby career at Marist St. Pat's, but made the move to Old Boys University. Had a season in the Hawke's Bay for Napier Marist. The ball's been lost again by Old Boys University, and it's been wrapped up. All advantage for a high tackle as it slipped up there by Plumtree. Centre field is the ball. 6 away from the line, but no advantage. And Hamish Mexted calls a penalty. Now, we saw Paremata-Plimmerton turn down the opportunity for a shot at goal before Ethan Loveridge, but this time they're putting down a scrum.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. Their scrum's been really dominant all day, and Hamish Mexted is probably not surprised by that. And they'll look to set up a really good platform. The backs will be split 3-3 by the looks of it. So, yeah, it's going to be a really interesting setup, how Paremata-Plimmerton use this ball.
Now, of course, Luke Dunlop, you're a product of Otago Boys High School. You said you played rugby down there. What was the highest grade of rugby you played down there for Otago Boys?
Played to a decent level at the junior level, and then was probably what you would consider nowhere near the threshold for the first 15 side. I was always a bit of a forward myself, but this is a great opportunity for the back line split here in the attacking scrum.
Oh, it's a solid scrum here for the Hammerheads, and there's advantage being played. It's at the back. Kama Fasai knocks the ball on. It was a loose pass, but we're coming back for the penalty. Quickly taken by Kama Fasai. Passes out to Carpenny. Carpenny is going to be just short of the chalk. The ball's there for Paremata-Plimmerton. They pick and go. They look, they survey, they look for the options. At the back is Sherrington. Out to Tossi. He got one crashing over before as he crashed over again. Not this time. The ball's at the back. Forensic scientists are everywhere looking for it. Here it is. They pick and go again. Way from the line. Coburn lunges over. Try! Is it? No. It's a penalty. And it's going to be offside. That time, Hamish Mexted said no. And Old Boys University, got to be careful here. This is now another scrum that Parramatta have elected to go for. And there's a few penalties down here in the 22 now, Ethan Loveridge.
Yeah,
They've got to be very careful.
They've got to be very, very careful, OBU. The discipline hasn't been that great when the Parramatta have been down here. One for the high tackle, a scrum penalty, and now an offside as well, as Hamish Mexted blows time off. Just want to make a shout out to one Jay Fairmaid. Much like myself, Jamie gets injured a lot.
Well, that's his own fault, though.
That is his own fault,
yeah.
But kind of my fault too. But I just want to shout out to our good mate Jamie, who I'm sure will have a few quiets tonight.
And that's not sarsaparilla, folks. Injury here for Old Boys University, as we have a quick time to have a breather. And let's have some score updates in the closing minutes of the first half around round 13.
Yeah, Huddle Boys Marist really stretching their lead out over Avalon now. 33-0, and the first half hasn't even been finished. Petone have now gone ahead of MSP, 7 points to 3. 14-5 still here at Rugby League Park to Paremata-Plimmerton. Upper Hutt Rams 10-7 over Auries. 22 to Paniki, 7 points to the Wellington Axemen. 14-8 Tawa over Norths. And Wainui Jayville 10-5. So a close game there at William Jones Park, and that game will, the result of that game will have some ramifications, I'm sure.
Oh, it certainly will. Johnsonville currently sitting at third on the table. The Hawks been on fire this year. Houston Park has turned into a bit of a fortress for the Johnsonville Hawks.
I might just say it's a wonderful ground to referee too when you've got a nice big crowd there up on the bank. It's a really cool place to referee rugby.
It's the best place to get refereeing advice too, is Helston Park. It
sure is. Thankfully, they're all up on the bank though. So they can't get to you.
So the score here is still 14-5. Paremata-Plimmerton ahead, enjoying a wealth of possession here at Rugby League Park, and they have an attacking scrum. And scrums today, Ethan, have been a little bit messy. A few resets. I think they're still trying to figure each other out.
Yeah, they are. Maybe that could be a tactic from OBU to try and slow Paremata-Plimmerton down a little bit, try and just frustrate them a few here and there, but I'm sure Hamish Mexted will be onto them like a flash if there are any problems.
So we're finally underway. There's another penalty. And it's been taken quickly by Luke O'Meary. He wrestles to the line. Has he got it down? He celebrates. He scores. They have a head strike, much to the protest of the students. And Old Boys University further behind on the scoreboard, Luke.
Yeah, well, it's the second time we've seen today they've opted for the quick tap close to the line, and both times it's given them the reward and 5 points.
Yeah, I think OBU will be pretty happy with 5 points because there was Hamish Mexted had the arm out there for an offside. They didn't quite retreat back quick enough, so much was their quick tap from Paraplim. So 5 points or a yellow card, I think, or potentially 7. I think they'd probably take the 7.
Dale Sabaj to line up the conversion attempt. Interesting fact about Dale Sabaj, he actually was part of the Lions Academy in South Africa, and he was behind one Elton Yankees.
Wasn't a bad player either, was he?
Not too bad. Not
Quality
too bad.
player. Quality player, Elton Yankees.
So here we go, Sabaj. Easy as you like, straight down the middle. And the score now is 21 points to 5. And Paremata-Plimmerton in total control here at Rugby League Park. And what are the options here for Old Boys University, Luke? They just really got to avoid Parramatta getting stuck down in their 22.
Yeah, well, not too long till half-time. They'll be hoping to hold out, and they're going to need a big second half for Old Boys.
So can the Street, sorry, I'm getting all the wrong club nicknames here. Can the Billy Goats get back on the scoreboard? Secured this time entirely by Paremata-Plimmerton. Their last restart was not that flash. In the hands of the try scorer, O'Meary. Wrapped up into the tackle. Old Boys University have won the penalty. He got himself isolated that time, Luke O'Meary. And one would think that Old Boys University, even though their line-out has been shaky, Ethan Loveridge, they will plug this corner.
Yeah, they'll plug the corner, and I think they'll have learnt from that last attempted pushover. Kyle Preston was really rallying the troops, and the backs even helped out then, but I think if they can win this ball and hold on to it, they're as dangerous as anyone else.
So a line-out on the 5x5. What can they do here? Western side of Rugby League Park. Light drizzle, still hanging around. Might have to go back to the car and get the plywood box to look after all our gear. Very soon, they'll be at a half-time, but Paremata-Plimmerton have done extremely well here. But Old Boys University still with the ball in hand. They wrestle forward, reaching, and they plea for a try, and it's been lost. It's a turnover. And good defence again there that time by Paremata-Plimmerton. And Old Boys University just not nailing those crucial moments here, Luke.
Yeah, well, it's the second time they've gone for the rolling maul off the short line out, and you just need... They've gone for the pushover twice, and they've lost the ball both times. Last time held up. They just need a dynamic ball carrier here to rip off the back, try and take the first defender, and surely that way they can get themselves back on the board.
And Ethan Loveridge as a referee, those decisions can be quite tricky that time, but Old Boys University didn't have the ascendancy and they couldn't get the ball out in time.
No, of course not. It was a collapsed maul, so the laws of the tackle don't really apply because it's a collapsed maul, and a lot of spectators get confused by that. So they see players off their feet or not rolling away. Well, at a collapsed maul, you legally don't actually have to. So that's always... a lot of players like to use that to their advantage, and fair enough to them.
Old Boys University decide to run it out. They've cut them open. Webster Nonu, he's got common for Si if he needs. He passes out. This kid's got speed. He gets around. He's wrestled and tackled by Webster Nonu. The ball comes out. It's electric. It's panic stations here at Rugby League Park. Old Boys University running back still. Clark kicks it over the top. Northcote, can he get around? He's got one to beat. Louis Northcote scores for Paremata-Plimmerton. And he goes over and scores his 14th try of the competition. That is amazing play. Amazing play.
I don't think we'll see a better try this year, Brad. That came from the turnover from the rolling maul, 5 metres in front of their own goal line. Ethan Webster Nonu found the gap, ran 50 metres. Wonderful support play by Paremata-Plimmerton, and Sam Clark that time made the right call. And the crossfield kick, there was acres of space. And goodness me, I don't know if we'll see a better try this year. That was sensational.
Yeah, well, it was brilliant work there from Plimmerton, and I'll tell you what, looking at the crowd and looking at their bench, they smell it. Still plenty of rugby here to go, but they feel they're in a brilliant position here.
And why would you not? You use the ball like that in these greasy conditions, I'm sure they can do anything.
Well, there's obviously a nickname for and chant for Louis Northcote. Chant of Wheels of the Bus Go Round and Round happening here at Rugby League Park. And you can see why he has been selected for the Wellington Lions Renfrew Shield squad. In the summer, James Corcoran told us in the broadcast last week we were at Ngāti Toa Domain, he actually is a track and field athlete, does 400 metres. I think you can see why a 400-metre runner is pretty good on the wing at rugby. Looks like Josh Morgan Randui's afternoon has come to an end. He was limping around before. The conversion is a beauty. And they extend their lead further. It's 28-5.
Very clinical display of rugby by Paremata-Plimmerton so far. It'll be interesting to see if they can keep this going in the second half, but Old Boys University really need to look after that ball if they want to have an impact in this game.
Yeah, it just hasn't come together for Old Boys today. They started the very first play of the match. They were privileged enough to receive their own kickoff and knocked it on straight away. They've been over the line a couple times, held up. It's just not clicking for them today.
So the restart is out on the full. And unfortunately, rugby can be like that. When it doesn't go your way, it definitely doesn't go your way. And that time there, it hasn't going well for Old Boys University. Out on the full and a scrum for Paremata-Plimmerton, centre field. But it's not going to be quite centre field because that centre of the field is chewing up with the mud. Surprising, this is where the Hurricanes used to train. It's a decent field, but there's certain parts of it where it's been chewed up a bit, and that's probably understandable considering the amount of rain we've had in the capital city since February this year. Yeah,
we've had heaps of rain in the capital this year, and a lot of grounds are really struggling as we see. Is Petone Rec back in action yet?
Well, Petone Rec, they haven't played on it for about 5 weeks, and there are some good news. They have actually been putting sand down into it to try and help it. The only bad news is the grandstand apparently still a risk. Yeah, you can still get changed inside it. Here we go at the back with O'Meary. Here's FC Common for Sai. Out to Sabaj, smashed. And it's been picked up by Henderson, and he's going to go all the way. This is what the Billy Goats need. And Henderson scores a vital try for Old Boys University.
Yeah, that's exactly what you need. A bit of luck when it's not going your way. The intercept in the middle of the park. He runs the length of the half, and he dots down right under the sticks, and it's a much, much needed try for Old Boys.
Well, there was a mistake came there, Ethan Loveridge, particularly from Dal Sabaj that time. He went to take the ball into contact, smashed by Cole Preston. Loose ball, which Henderson saw a gap and slid through and scored. Yeah,
he did real captain's play there from Cole Preston. He's really taking leadership of this team now. And perfect time to score, like Luke said, just before half-time. They can really boost the confidence going into half-time. There's still a bit of a gap in the scoreboard, but I'm sure as this conversion is over.
28 plays 12. Old Boys University reduced the margin, and with only about 2 minutes left on our clock, probably a few more of the stoppages as we had, What are some of the closing scores in the first round around the grounds?
Well, there might be a cricket score at the Hut Rec. It's 40 points to 0 to Hutt Old Boys Marist over Avalon. It's 7 points to 8 Marist St Pat's over Petone. It's still 10 points to 7 Upper Hutt Rams over Auries at the Polo Ground. 15-5 Wainui over Jayville. That's an interesting scorecard. 28-12 here, as Brad alluded to. Paniki 36, Wellington Axemen 7, and Tawa 26, Northern United 8.
Old Timers Day today at Tawa. And always a great place out there, Lyndhurst Park.
Yeah, we had our prize giving out there last year. And Jack Travella and I were right on the karaoke. Wins the wee hours, which was good fun.
Probably was a Taylor Swift song. Here's the restart. It's been picked up well. And Paremata-Plimmerton get the ball. No, they've knocked it on. A knock-on has been called by referee Hamish Mixted. And much as to the pleas of Pasalia Tossi, it's going to be a scrum for Old Boys University. 12 metres inside their own half.
Yeah, well, we've had a lot of lost balls so far, and it's only going to get more slippery, so we'll see if the scrum contest gets any better. Plimmerton have been dominating so far. What do you think, Ethan?
Yeah, I think that'll continue to be the case. It'll be interesting to see when the reserves come on in the second half, if that dynamic changes. I suppose it gives the teams just a chance to have a quick little breath before half-time, because I'm sure both teams will be knackered after this.
So here we go. The front rows collide. Preston feeds. More solid scrum there that time by Old Boys University. Henderson decides to put up the high kick. Northcote under pressure. Plumtree gets it, but he's knocked it on, and it's been picked up by Palu. But it's going to be a knock-on against Old Boys University and a scrum for Paremata-Plimmerton. Still time to play, said referee Hamish Mixted.
Yeah, he did, and that scrum really solid that time by OBU, so maybe the tide might be turning slightly.
Well, they were a little bit shaky at their scrums, particularly when Louis Calvert came off. James Holbrook, who's been around the traps for a long time, and he'll add some stability to this platform here for Old Boys University. The score is 28 points to 12. Paremata-Plimmerton ahead in roughly about 1 minute left in the first half.
Yeah, it's been a stunning first half so far. Cracking game of rugby. Plimmerton stretched out to a good lead, but Old Boys are definitely in this as Premier Club Rugby. A bit of brilliance is never far away, and Old Boys will need that in the second half if they're going to win this final.
Here we go. Come up for Cy Clark, kept quiet so far. Out to Karpenny, cuts them open. Karpenny's got Northcote, and also Faliafaga. Faliafaga goes to the corner. Faliafaga scores.
The referee's not sure.
It's a consultation. It's a try. And Paremata-Plimmerton finished the first half in style.
Well, that's an even better time to score after after the 40 minutes have gone. And I tell you what, there's some really slick ball work there. There's the passing, the running, the evasion of the defensive line has just been superb. That was fantastic yet again. I love a set-piece try. Wonderful to see.
Yeah, well, the brilliance, like I say, is never far away. Unfortunately for Old Boys, it came from Plimmerton this side on the wing. He makes a break all the way down to the try line. He was right in the corner. The referee had to check with his sideline official, and he awards a try and another score for Plimmerton. This has been a brilliant first half for them.
Yeah, I'm sure Hamish Mixted didn't want that 50-metre run, but
he got it nonetheless. At least he gets a bit of a break now.
Well, at least his hamstrings have held together. There's been plenty of running in this first half. Dal Sabaj. That's his toughest kick of the day. Right on the touchline, just outside the 22. On the western front of Rugby League Park. And it's unsuccessful, and that is half-time here at Rugby League Park. And Paremata-Plimmerton go into the break ahead, 33 points to 12. We'll be back in 5 minutes for the second half.
Because we need a bit of ticker out there.
Look at the wrong line.
She's going for parent love now.
Surgery.
What happened to him?
No, it doesn't look like it. It's a pierce.
Welcome back to Rugby League Park as the second half is about to get underway. 33 points to 12 is the score. Paremata-Plimmerton dominating the first half and Ethan Loveridge. The Quillabo there for Old Boys University. Was that try right on half-time?
Yep, both teams scoring just before half-time, but Paremata-Plimmerton getting the psychological edge as Sam Clark kicks the second half underway, deep into the 22. And out on the full again. Two very simple mistakes from both teams early on. I know Paremata-Plimmerton might be far ahead on the scoreboard, but you certainly don't want to be making mistakes like that first kick of the half.
Yeah, well, it's the perfect start for Old Boys. They needed a big half. They've got a decent start here with the kick going out on the full, so they'll pack down the scrum on the halfway line and a chance to run it up with some possession here early in the second half.
So scrum here on halfway for Old Boys University. Anthony Ruhutai and the coaching staff for Old Boys University would have been really laying down the law at half-time. Let's see how they respond to this Paremata-Plimmerton challenge. The scrums come together. And this come out the tunnel again, and we're just really today at scrum time, men, we just have not had a stable platform whatsoever, and it seems to be continuing.
Yeah, well, I think that was more just poor technique from the hooker there. It just kind of bounced off his foot. He didn't really hook it in time. So I'm just wondering if they might be a little bit out of sync, Kyle Preston and the OBU front row maybe, and perhaps just wasn't quite expecting it. But I'm sure Hamish Mexted will look to settle things down and just give them a bit more space and allow the front rows to do their thing. He's got plenty of experience, Hamish.
Yeah, the magnificent art of the scrum right here on halfway. They've moved it off centre because the pitch is ripping up. So it might be just a little bit tricky out there for the forwards to get their footing here, which might be causing some of the problems.
Well, we finally have a good platform. The Hammerheads put on the shunt. This could be risky. They get it out in time. Lokeni out to Preston. Tries to kick it over the top of Faliafunga. He slips but hangs onto the ball. Back centre field with Karpenny. He kicks it downfield. Henderson chasing after it. Watches it bounce in front of him. Runs it up. Kicks it high. High, but it's going to be out on the full. And we're going back to about 5 metres inside Old Boys University's half. A good option there, but just didn't have the radar that time even.
Yeah, just a little bit aimless there. It probably wasn't the wisest option, but Old Boys University certainly don't want to be giving the ball back easily. And now Paremata-Plimmerton have an attacking line out just inside the OBU half.
The throw comes in from Coburn. It's overthrown, and Holbrook has managed to pick up the scraps. And he has been wrapped down. There's an advantage being played here for Old Boys University. Dougal Perez, the product from Maris Ashgrove in Brisbane, Australia, which of course is a trivia question for both you, Luke and Ethan. This is the most famous wallaby to come from Maris Ashgrove in Brisbane.
Well, I tell you what, that's a tough one first off the bat.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
What club do you play for? You play Super Rugby?
Oh, I did. He played for the Queensland Reds.
Reds? Best Wallaby.
Well, it's relatively easy. It's John Eales.
John, oh, of course. Well, there you go. The 1900s. Beautiful, beautiful stuff there.
John Eales, geez, he's still alive.
Oh, he's a quality player.
Well, he is. He broke our hearts in 2000 at the first test at the Wellington Stadium.
Yeah, my old man was there that day. He still talks about it.
Oh, solid
there's
platform.
Messi from OBU at that scrum and looking after that ball.
Here's the ball. It comes out centre field. Here they go. This is a good run here by Stewart. He offloads it. Preston scores! That is the answer that the Billy Goats needed to start the second half. And the captain does it in style.
That was brilliant there from Old Boys. Through the hands, good bit of rugby, and a brilliant breakaway at the end to score under the post. Old Boys really needed a start. They got it first up with the kick going out off the full, and all of a sudden, they've scored a try, and they're right back in it here.
Yeah, the next 5-10 minutes are going to be crucial for both teams as OBU look to stamp their mark, but Paremata-Plimmerton, I'm sure, will bounce back. We talked about how good of a second half team they are, but I thought OBU really stuffed that scrum up. Got to the lock's feet and it bounced off another few feet and it thought it was going to go back, but then Kyle Preston managed to get it out and his backs did the work. There was some wonderful support play. We've seen some wonderful tries from set pieces today.
As the conversion is slotted over. Brilliant work there from Old Boys. Like you say, the set piece, it looked like it was going to break down a bit and they had enough of that and they said, we're getting this wide, and the back line works a bit of magic for Old Boys. It's a quality score, great bit of rugby, and they really need to kick on here.
First 15 score result. Hutt International Boys School continue on their strong form, winning 44-3 over Mana College. That's in the first 15 premiership competition.
Yeah, there's been some interesting results in that competition, Brad. I know St. Pat's Town have probably got off to a little bit of a slow start by their standards.
They certainly have. Well, we're waiting for a ball to arrive, and now we've got two.
That always happens.
That always happens. So it's just a matter of which one is actually the sponsor's ball. We saw that last week, got taken off the field very quickly.
And they're both Gilbert balls, but I don't think Gilbert's the sponsor, is it, Brad?
No, it's not. And at the end of the day, you've got to make sure you have the right ball and the right sponsor. Here we go. Sam Clark gets proceedings back underway. It comes down to the try scorer, Preston, and he has lost control of the ball, and it's gone into touch, but it's going to be an Old Boys University line out. Paremata-Plimmerton, they know that they're better in second half play. That's much better.
Yeah,
Them there.
They're in the right area of the field now. It's an OBU line out, but hasn't been the been the cleanest part of their game, OBU. The last one wasn't very straight, and they get that one right. As Sam Clark kicks it down towards halfway.
There he is with the ball at hand, Sam Clark. Takes it into contact. They swarm around him, do the Billy Goats. They pick and go again. And they're going to slowly work this up. Carpenny at acting halfback. Gives it out to Sabaj. Skips in front of Tossi. And it's a loose ball. Carpenny playing under advantage of Paremata-Plimmerton. And the penalty comes, and it's going to be for offside. It's been taken quickly by Carpenny. Out to Tossi, slamming, smashing towards the 22. It's coming slow again. Coburn puts on the afterburners and has a charge. There's still centre field in the 22. Looking for a turnover. It's come. Old Boys University through Nico and Will have got the turnover. Henderson under pressure. Does extremely well. There's a high tackle by Sabaj. Is it? Not Sabaj. It's Luca Meri. It's just one of those accidental ones there, Ethan.
Yeah, I think it was, but in saying that, he looked like a bit of a seatbelt around the neck, as it looks like it's been kept in field, Brad.
It has. It's been kept in field,
No.
has it? No.
No, he's knocked it on.
He's knocked it on. Knocks Tui Nassau. Couldn't keep control of the pill.
Good effort to keep the ball in the field of play there. Unfortunately, the ball just going forward there, and Hamish Mexted getting the call from Jack Sargentina on the sideline.
And we're just having a bit of a gentle talk to here by Hamish Mexted to Preston, and it's going to be a scrum. The Old Boys University dugout, it's a bit like Paremata-Plimmerton's. It keeps growing, gentlemen.
Yeah,
more and more
seems to
players
be.
in there.
There are technical zones drawn off, but I suppose it's the passion and the excitement of the day, and probably just goes out the window, to be honest. Let's just hope Jack Sargentina doesn't get tripped over by anyone standing in the wrong spot.
Absolutely. It's finals footy. People are crowding in. There's no rules and regulations anymore. This is all about the big prize at the end of the day, and Plimmerton are in a great spot.
They are, as Kyle Preston gets clean ball at the back of the scrum. It's a terrible pass, and it's knocked on there by OBU.
He just took his hands off the ball there, Henderson. Probably distracted by the noise and the stench. We're going to have a scrum here, just a repeated amount of scrums in this game.
Hamish Mexted calls time off, and of course Hamish Mexted was a guest on the Hurry Hui this week. Of course, he did the Jubilee Cup final in 2013. His assistant referee that day was someone by the name of Dr. Ben O'Keefe.
Yeah, no, he's got some sort of final tonight,
And
doesn't he?
he ended up making a name for himself, but it just shows you how good Hamish is, that he got a Jubilee Cup final before Ben, and Ben went pro. So it's a real credit to Hamish and his resilience to come back into this Premier group.
I think a Jubilee Cup final's more of a proper esteem than a Super Rugby final.
Oh, I would have thought. There's a big crowd here today. There was a big crowd there that day too at the Hut Rec, as time off's blowing again. But I just want to make a personal note. I know Hamish obviously took an extended break off, and he's been wonderful to work with in the Premier group. He's been a real asset to Wellington rugby referees, and he's been a big asset to Wellington rugby to give 20-odd years of your life to this game, and a volunteer role is not easy. So congratulations, Hamish, and we'll celebrate with a few tonight, I'm sure.
Well, we have time back on as the medics have done their job. Just a few water bottles still to come off the field. Scrum here for Paremata-Plimmerton. And it looks like Carpenny has now become the halfback for Paremata-Plimmerton. Essie Komafasai has gone to the side. Change in personnel. He's an interesting one here too, actually. Del Sabaj has moved into the first receiver position. Sam Clark's moved to fullback. So they have done that a few times this season, Paremata-Plimmerton. Good shunt here by Old Boys University. Sabaj out to Webster Nonu. Beats the first tackler. Beats the second. Offloads it. And it's been picked up. And can they go all the way? No, there was a knock on. Knock on. But yet again, a sign of the danger that Paremata-Plimmerton possess.
Yeah, he's been very dangerous, Webster Nonu. He's broken the defensive line multiple times today. And if he keeps doing that, he's going to cause OBU some headaches later in this half loop.
Yeah, well, the swap around at first receiver, and straight away they make the break right through the middle, and unfortunately the knock-on holds them back. as the referee gives us the double blows, and we're going to have another break here.
Well, it's Pasalia Tossi that is down injured. That's the second time he's gone down for Paremata-Plimmerton, and he is going to be substituted, this time by Werdner Malegi. Now, interesting fact about Werdner is that his father is called Andrew, and so his family decided to name him Werdner, which is Andrew backwards.
Well, as far as names go, that's pretty impressive.
Well, it's quite good. Yeah, it's an interesting one for sure. I don't know too much if it would work for my children.
Well, here we go, off the back. Old Boys University, high kick by Preston. It's right up, it's about to touch the moon. There's no, oh, Sam Clark can't get hold of it. The ball's been lost. Clark picks it up. No pleas of a knock on, so they managed to keep possession of the ball. Louis Northcote has a run. Offloads it to Inasso, but he can't hang on to the ball. It's been knocked down, and Old Boys University have possession. It's like a hot potato at the moment. Everyone keeps dropping it. Palu out to Plumtree. Oh. Loose ball. Right, can't get hold of it. The pass that time there by Stewart. Couldn't meet his target. And so Paremata-Plimmerton with a line out right on halfway, directly in front of the Rugby League Park grandstand.
There was a huge bomb there by Kyle Preston, and I don't think Sam Clark actually got a fingertip to it. It just went straight through him. And I think that was the right call to play on, but there by Hamish Mexter. For a knock-on to happen, we've got to remember it's got to come off the handle, arm, and go forward. So if he doesn't touch it, well, it's play on.
Sherrington does well, but it's not straight. The call came from assistant referee Jack Sargentina, and much to the protest of Tony Coburn, it's going to be a scrum to Old Boys University. Well,
yeah.
Actually 14 in from the grandstand touchline, because that part there on the 15-metre mark is a bit chewed up.
Yeah, it's nice to see ARs working together. I know Daniel Mangan threw me under the bus last week. I called a not straight, and he said, no, play on. So it's nice to see the team of three working together.
Absolutely, you need all the help you can get, especially in such a big occasion like this. As you say, 100th game for the referee. As we pack down another scrum. Plenty of scrums today. How does this one turn out?
So Preston pulls away quickly as the scrum collapses and does a roly-poly.
And Jack Sargentina, they're just employing the Old Boys University forward pack just to calm down. Take a breath.
Well,
fair enough.
Yeah, exactly. It's a higher level intensity. We've only been going sort of 14 minutes into the second half, and at the moment the only try scorer in the matches in the second half is Old Boys University, and Paremata-Plimmerton, they're still trying to latch onto this ball. While we're waiting, let's have some score updates. Ethan, fire away.
So it's 54-0 at the Hutt Rec. Hutt Old Boys over Avalon. MSP are down 17-8 over Petone. Upper Hutt Rams are ahead of Ori's 23-17. Paniki 48-7 over Wellington. Tawa 26-8 over Norths, and Wainui are down to Javel 25-15, so a close game there.
Well, penalty here against Paremata-Plimmerton as an Erin Magpie flies above our position. Dangerous creatures they are. It's very sad news in the Hawke's Bay this week is that they've retired their mascot, Kahu. And so it's going to be line out here for Old Boys University, and they're inside the 22 now. And Luke Dunlop, this is a fantastic opportunity for them to score their second try of the half.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity inside the 22 as they get the ball into the line out and they move it out towards the tight head prop who rumbles it up.
Connor Finisi rumbled it forward. Preston at the back. Passes it out, but it's been knocked on by Underwill, and here goes Paremata-Plimmerton. Webster Nonu kips it through, but it's going to run into touch right on halfway on the western touchline here at Rugby League Park.
Yeah, it would have been really interesting to see if that had stayed in play there. There was no one back for Old Boys University, and Paremata-Plimmerton have got gas out on those wings. They're probably thankful that the touchline beat them as a substitution's being made, Brad.
Yes, jersey 19 for Paremata-Plimmerton. Penny Taupo, product of Tower College, is coming on. Made his debut for Paremata-Plimmerton 2016, ironically against Old Boys University. And according to stats I got from Club Rugby, this is his 96th game. So, good wealth of experience to come on. Douse the Barge was having a bit of attention and back pay from the medic, but he's looks like he's just nursing a bit of a sore leg or arm, but he's all fine. And that is Leota's afternoon done.
Free kick to OBU, closing the gap at the line out by the looks of it.
Here they go, they tap it quickly and go. Here goes Dougal Perez. He was wrapped up and brought down 4 inside Paremata-Plimmerton's half. Henderson out to Palu. Plumtree, electric and feisty, takes it into contact. Preston again, out to Riley, secures the ball. And they're about 8 away from the 22. Preston again, it's a juggle, but Wright's done well. Call backwards is the call. Here goes Plumtree, another juggle, another callback by referee Maxted. They're now in the 22, Old Boys University. Building up ascendancy. Henderson comes out. Good tackle. Loose ball. It's gone backwards again. No, it's been knocked on. Messy play that time by the Billy Goats. And Paremata-Plimmerton will have a scrum just outside their 22. But Old Boys University have a lot of possession in this half here, Luke Dunlop. But when they're just getting into these crucial positions, they're just making mistakes when they don't need to.
Absolutely right. A lot of possession, a lot of handling errors. And the scrum will be the Plimmerton feed on their 22 as the medics are on the field again.
Well, the medics here, they've been well and truly worked over today on the players, and particularly in the second half, the amount of stoppages we've had. It's a hell of a lot.
It's going to be a long second half if this keeps going on. I think the referees are just going to have to tell them to get on with it soon.
Well, jersey 19, Cody Quinn is coming on for Old Boys University, a product of Rotorua Boys High School in his 59th game. And he also played 1 season for Petone in 2017. So Cody Quinn onto the field. And we'll just wait to see the player that he has replaced.
Bit of confusion going on, Brad, here. I'm not sure what's happening. Hamish Mixted got a call from Zinni about something, maybe an extra player on the field.
Well, Connor Chatfield is the player that has been replaced. It might actually be the position of where the scrum should be. I'm not too sure, but we've finally got something sorted. So, finally, time back on. And a scrum here for Paremata-Plimmerton. And Karpenick, the halfback, with the ball in hand. 58 minutes gone on our scoreboard clock. It's more probably about 56. Good push here by Old Boys University. And they come off the back. Clark kicks it downtown. Chasing back after it is Stewart. And Stewart just outside the 22. Looks for his option, decides to put it high up in the air. One bounce, and it's actually out on the full, and that could be a costly mistake here for Old Boys University. It allows Paremata-Plimmerton with an attacking line out, Ethan.
Yeah, it does. Mistake happen right in front of the vocal Paremata-Plimmerton supporters who let the Old Boys Universities know about it. As Coburn quick taps, it must have been a free kick or a quick line out. Paremata-Plimmerton looking to start their attack as OBU win the penalty for holding on.
Well,
high risk, high reward there from Paremata-Plimmerton, but OBU get themselves out of trouble.
Well, the pats on the back, it looked like they went to Dougal Perez, the number 6 for Old Boys University. He was a guest on the Hurry Hui this year, episode 77. A good chat to him, learning about him, how he actually last year had the whole year off rugby. The previous year he suffered concussions playing for his University of Queensland club and decided to have a break for a year. And then took up the challenge of coming over here to Wellington. And he's flourishing here in the capital city, and he's doing very well.
Yeah, it's been a slow-paced second half so far, a lot of stoppages and a lot of mistakes as well. I feel it might be a rhythm problem for Old Boys, doing a lot of standing around as there's been a lot of stoppages as they pack down the rolling maul here. As we don't get it, we get slight movement forward, so they're going to have to recycle this ball here and get it out to the back line.
So here they go, Old Boys University. Paremata-Plimmerton doing their best to slow down this charge. But one thing you know about Old Boys University, they've won a lot of championships in the last decade. They know how to win them when they're under pressure. Henderson off the side of the boot. Plumtree tries to get hold of it, but Carpenny won the race. And here they go, Paremata-Plimmerton trying to get out of their 22. But it's a penalty as Old Boys University were offside.
Yep, the number 13 there for OBU. Reece Plumtree was just in front of the kicker when he made that kick. And Hamish Mixted playing advantage for that. Paremata-Plimmerton get the penalty right on their own 22-metre line, centre field.
So Sam Clark, he also is a guest on the Huddy Hui this week. Sam Clark, he's quite a hard person to contact during the day because he does a lot of fishing with his father, Darcy, crayfishing. Here's some more substitutions happening for Paremata-Plimmerton. Alex Hinchcliffe in jersey 20, and Caleb Alagi coming on for Paremata-Plimmerton, and that looks like it's going to be Carpenny's afternoon that has finished. And Louis Northcote. Look like, oh no, Carpenny's still on the field. It looks like it's going to be Northcote. That's one of the substituted players. And we'll wait to see who the other player that was substituted. Scorers 33 points to 19. There's only been one try in this match so far. The throw from Coburn was not straight. And Old Boys University have pounced on that mistake. Here goes Jack Riley. Wrestles it forward, centre field 11 inside Paremata-Plimmerton territory. Palu passes it off. This is a good charge by Plumtree. There's a Paremata-Plimmerton player down and back play, and he's not looking good. The tapped and go to Lorkenny. They take it into the 22. He's lost possession of the ball. It looks like it's been knocked on. No, play on is the call. And here goes Old Boys University. Wrapped around his right. A loose ball again. Quinn is hammered by Coburn. And they look to pick and go again. But Paremata-Plimmerton get over the top, and Coburn has won the turnover. Excellent work, Sherrington out to Hinchcliffe. Now centre field with the ball. What can they do now, Paremata-Plimmerton? They've had to do a lot of defending in the second half. Sabaj kicks it downfield. Henderson is at the back. He's got time and space. He looks, kicks it over the top. It's gone into the hands of Paremata-Plimmerton. Clark's gone down, nursing a shoulder. It's all happening here. There's players dropping everywhere. There's two players down, McMillan Parata and Clark for Paremata-Plimmerton. Get the stretchers ready, folks. It's getting intense out here. The ball goes into the in-goal, and Webster Nonu just watches it. And he grounds it. And it's just going to be a stop to proceedings. And it's all happening here at the moment, Luke Dunlop. And there's real concerns for these two Paremata-Plimmerton players. The captain's getting no attention whatsoever. It's the first five that's getting it all, Sam Clark.
Well, that's the story of the back line, isn't it?
Sam Clark gets back to his feet very quickly for the goal line dropout, but Tane McMillan Parata is really down there. He he passed it into Sam Clark, and like you said, Brad, dropped like a fly.
Well, I believe he might have been the player about 2 minutes beforehand that went down and was lying flat on the ground, and he has been carried away by the medic.
It's out on the full, that goal line dropout, so it'll be a 5-metre scrum to OBU.
Well, McMillan Parata is not looking great, but he's still on the field there, Luke. He looks like he's going to battle through it.
Yeah, well, this is a good opportunity for Old Boys here. They had Paremata were playing with 13 men on the field, and they chose to kick the ball away, Old Boys, but they've managed to get it back in a good position now with the 5-metre scrum, so this is a real opportunity for them here.
So a scrum here for Old Boys University, directly in front of the post, the southern end of Rugby League Park. 33 points to 19, just one try in the second half. And can the Billy Goats make it 2 for the half? Wellington Rugby CEO Shannon Paku running away with the Swindale Shield, getting it ready and polished for the after-match festivities. It's at the back. They take it through Lorkenny. He's wrapped up by Hinchcliffe. And there's an advantage being played here. It's a penalty advantage. Paremata-Plimmerton, got to be careful. Clark has to take the tackle. But it's slow going here for the Billy Goats. Preston looks around, fires it himself. Good offload to Plumtree! He's got the ball down. He's got 2 tries. Reece Plumtree, a fantastic offload there by the captain, Cole Preston, and this narrows the margin further.
Yep, game on here, Brad. That's the confidence booster OBU needed. A try close to the post. Should be a relatively easy conversion, but Paremata-Plimmerton there just a little bit rushed in their defence. They, like you said, Brad, they've done a lot of defending. They haven't had a lot of ball possession, and maybe that's just starting to show now. OBU starting to show their premiership qualities.
Yeah, well, they've been pretty good on the line so far in this game, defence-wise, but this time they tried something different, Old Boys, with the number 8 dropping off the back, and it's done a wonderful job for them, and they score the try and they kick the conversion, and looking good here, Old Boys, but they're going to need to really step it up and step it up soon.
So it's a 7-point margin here at Rugby League Park. Old Boys University clawing it back against the top of the table, Paremata-Plimmerton. This is going down to the wire, folks. We've got roughly about 15 minutes left, I think. So Paremata-Plimmerton have been starved of possession in the second half. Can they get some points on the board? Clark kicks. It's straight down the throat of Old Boys University, and well taken that time there by the captain, Cole Preston. He's having a blinder of a game, is Cole Preston. Good charge here by Luke Gilbert at the back. The ball comes through from Henderson. Straight down to Clark. It's been Henderson that's been winning the first 5 battles this afternoon. Clark again puts it high up in the air. Henderson underneath it, and he calls for the mark.
Don't see that too often.
No, very rarely do you see a mark in rugby. Henderson decides to kick it and bang it downtown into the hands of Sabaj, and that's going to be roughly about 8-9 metres inside their own territory. And Luke Dunlop, they're just not winning the kicking battles here at the moment, Paremata-Plimmerton.
Yeah, that's a good bit of distance, though, there from Old Boys. They get inside the Plimmerton half. There's been not much rugby played in the middle of the park. Both teams have done a good job of getting down the opposition end. This is a good opportunity here for Old Boys. Oh, in fact, it's a Plimmerton line-out throw, beg your pardon.
Yep, off a free kick, so there's a Paremata-Plimmerton line-out. It's been a bit shaky lately, but they go to the front, and Hinchcliffe takes it.
Well, it's with Sabaj, and he puts an almighty boot.
50-22 here, Brad.
This is potentially one. Chasing back after it is Isaac Wilson. He stops it from going into touch as the rain gets to the heaviest it's been this afternoon. Just outside the 22 now is the ball for Old Boys University. They fire it back. Quinn wrestled into contact. It's another advantage being played here. And Paremata-Plimmerton have been penalised. They tap it quickly to Preston. He offloads it into the tackle. It goes, but it was a forward pass.
They went back 10.
And they weren't back 10, so it's going to be a penalty again for Old Boys University. And they tap it quickly. They know they have to score quickly. Here they go. Lockeny with the ball. He's got Plumtree if he needs. He takes it into contact with Sabaj. Preston at the back. They're a metre inside Paremata-Plimmerton territory. Quinn wrestling, rumbling forward. It's another penalty advantage. Paremata-Plimmerton have got to be careful here. Holbrook passes it out to Henderson. Old Boys University are running them over. Dougal Perez wrestles, offloads it out. That's a good slow burst up here by Old Boys University. They're advancing forward. The crowd are on their feet. It's getting exciting here at Rugby League Park. Preston, there they go, rumbling forward. Connor Finisi over the top of the ball. Ephraim Webster-Nonu is down in back play. It's all happening here at Rugby League Park. It's slow coming. Preston fires it out. Loose ball, tidied up. It's there again. Wright having to tidy up the scraps. And there's an advantage being played for a knock-on against Paremata-Plimmerton. And what a crazy segment of play there.
Oh, this game's got everything, Brad. It's been fantastic. Tension's getting a little bit flary now, and that's fair enough. It's been an exciting game.
Yeah, another instance where Plimmerton have a man down in back play, and Old Boys allow the ball in to a stoppage here. And that should provide enough time for the Plimmerton player to make his way back. But he's not
Hopefully,
looking good there, getting his legs stretched out.
Looks like a bit of cramp there, but just while we've got time off, let's give a quick scoreboard check. Hull Old Boys Marist over Avalon 66-7. It's going to be a cracker at Evans Bay. Petonia ahead 2018 over MSP, 33-26 here at Rugby League Park. It's going to be a cracker at the Polo too. Oriental Rongotai 24, the Rams 23. Paniki 60-19 over the Axemen. Tawa 34-8 over Norths, and Johnsonville 25-18 ahead over Wainui Amata. So some really close, exciting games so far today.
Well, we've just had a spectator ordered from the ground here at Rugby League Park. Referee Hamish Mixshed has ushered him away. And he's going to be told to move outside the playing enclosure. He's just gradually taking his time by the looks of it.
And it looks like Hamish Mixed's not going to start until he does, which is fair enough. We have no place at all for match official abuse in our game. And it's unfortunately put a negative blight on this really good game so far. Webster Nonu looks like he's going off. Cramp's got too bad for him.
Well, he has gone off now, and Luca Meli has come back on for Paremata-Plimmerton. He was running back on. So it's just a matter for Paremata-Plimmerton. They're running low on reserves. Can they hang on? Here we go. The scrum for Old Boys University. The pressure is mounting. Here it comes to Wilson. Wilson met in a tackle by Carpenny. Preston fires it out. Quinn charging forward. The pleas, the support is happening. It's slowly coming. Gilbert is at the back. Fires it out to Riley, and Riley has surveyed and looked and takes it into contact. They're 10 away from the line. The pick and go. They're directly in front of the post. They're 5 away from the line. Old Boys University, Paremata-Plimmerton. It's all on here at Rugby League Park. Gives there a turnover. The ball comes out. It's a penalty.
Offside. Going to have to be careful here. Paremata-Plimmerton's Kyle Preston takes it. No, didn't take it from the mark correctly. It's all on here, Brad.
Oh. Referee Mixted, I don't think he wants to do paperwork for his 100th game, and that is understandable. And what a thrilling match we've got here so far. Taken by Perez, takes it himself, and he's a metre short of the line. Old Boys University, pick and go, it's nearly there.
Offside
Another advantage being played. Quinn goes himself. The crowd are on their feet. It's getting exciting here. Here we go to Henderson. Parlow to Plumtree, but they've lost it. But there was a penalty.
This might be a card here, Brad. It's the second time Paremata-Plimmerton are offside at their own goal line.
Well, Callum Harkin, he wants to be out there, but he can't. It's exciting, Luke Dunlop.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, the employment of the quick tap, and that's what caught Plimmerton off the line, and that's resulted in the penalty and another good opportunity for Old Boys.
No, Hamish Mixed avoids the pocket. I'd say that's a final warning now for Paremata-Plimmerton.
They pick and go again, and they lunge to the line. They score! It's a try for Old Boys University! And there's a push and shove going on. It's all happening here at Rugby League Park. Oh, the tension, the boil over. The game does not need this.
Well, the Plimmerton dominance has been most of the game, but the second half has been brilliant from Old Boys, and I tell you, that was the loudest we've heard the ground here today. These fans here are really up for it here, and Plimmerton struggling on their own line again. Old Boys dot it down, and the conversion will tie the game, I believe.
Well, we're not too sure who the try scorer was, because just when they were about to get up, a melee broke out. Now, the officials are just having a little forensic discussion here. Jack Sargentino with Hamish Mixted are having a talk. Upston, the water carrier. It's going to be needed for Hamish Mixted.
Yeah, you might need something a bit stronger after tonight, Brad.
Well, it's a good discussion. Zinni McCormack is also having a talk here too. Now, this could be interesting. What are they going to decide here?
Well, the try's been awarded, so they have to. The try stands.
Well, actually, Cole Preston has been called out here alongside Alex Hinchcliffe for Paremata-Plimmerton.
So it looks like it'll be a good chat between the captains to take control of their teams, because like you said, Brad, the game doesn't need this. It's been a really, really good game of rugby, and we don't need it ruined by poor discipline after tries have been scored. So, yep, we shake hands, we get on with it.
And I think that's a great officiating there by the team of 3. They've done extremely well there.
There's some very good experience in this team of 3 today too. Obviously, Jack refereeing his 50th game earlier this year. And Zinni's been around a while too, as Tom Henderson has his time put back on. He looks to line up this conversion 15 in from touch.
33-31 is the score. This goes over. We're all level.
Yeah, looks good.
No, it's missed. It's moved away. Old Boys University pleading that it went over, but no. And so the score is still Paremata-Plimmerton 33-31.
Big call there, Jack Sargentina and Zinni McCormick clearly looking at each other there. I think the ball slightly went to the left of the left-hand upright. As Sam Clark looks to kick off. There's been 2 mistakes from restarts today. I'm sure he won't want there to be a third.
So at the moment, Paremata-Plimmerton, with only a matter of minutes remaining, are narrowly ahead. They have not scored a single point in the second half. It's been Old Boys University. Plumtree's knocked it on. The pass was too stretched out. And it's going to be a scrum from Paremata-Plimmerton inside the 22. A set piece for the Hammerheads. They have to strike now.
Yeah, absolutely. The rains are really coming down here, so it's going to be an exciting finish. But Plimmerton, with the lead, with very little time remaining, as we set down another scrum.
It's probably their best attacking opportunity of the second half. They've hardly been down this end of the field.
Absolutely, with possession of the ball as well. The back line split. Really good opportunity for them to get the ball out and score and put it beyond doubt.
Well, here we go. They've had little ball. They've been under pressure. They've survived not getting a yellow card. They've got a scrum. 10 away from the northern try line. They put the push on. There's an advantage coming. Carpenny wrestles them forward. They lunge it forward. They take it up forward again. The advantage is still there. They look to score. The ball's at the back. They're looking at forensically. Another advantage here against the students.
They've got to go left.
The tries come! The try has been scored! Paremata-Plimmerton have scored!
That should do it. That should do it.
Savage.
Savage, on the looks of it, is the try scorer. And just when they needed it, men, nothing. A whole half, and they've finally come up trumps.
Yeah, well, Old Boys dominated the second half. It's been a valiant comeback, but right when they needed it, in the dire stages of the match, Plimmerton show up with a big-time try, and the conversion should win them this final.
Still a matter of minutes to go. Remember, there's been a lot of stoppages here in this match. So it all comes down to the time of Hamish Mexted. Dal Sabaj with the conversion attempt. This goes over, be 40 points to 31. And Hush descends across the ground. Here we go. He lines it up. Old Boys University charge. The conversion is successful, and it's them ahead. 40 points to 31. And let's have some score updates from around the ground with the closing minutes in Swindale Shield Rugby for 2023.
Well, it's 68 points to 7. Hutt Old Boys over Avalon. MSP are now ahead of Petone, 23-20. 40 points to 31 here at Rugby League Park. It's 24-23 at the Polo between Auries and the Rams. It's 60 points to 24. Paniki over Wellington Axman, 34-15. Tawa over Norths, and no change in the scoreboard at William Jones. It's 25. Johnsonville, Wainui 18.
So a ball finally arrives on the paddock, but we've got 2 again. Henderson gets played back underway. Sherrington watches it, bounces off the shoulder. Old Boys University have the ball. And it's Keegan Wright that secured it for the students. Riley takes it into contact. Met by Davis Ennie. Here they go, centre field. They've got the ball. Palu fires it out. Plumtree tries to fend off one. It's tackled inside the 22. Loose ball. Tidy back after it is Wright, the chairman of Old Boys University. Out to Jack Riley. He looks, he's got Dougal Perez if he needs. They survey and look. Preston, a blinder of a game. Out to Gilbert. Henderson. Stewart. They've got to stretch it out here. Wilson takes it into contact. The rain gets heavier in the dying minutes here at Rugby League Park. And it's going to be a try.
No,
but
out.
The foot is on the line. The flag of Sydney McCormick comes up and denies a try. And that would have been try number 3 for Reece Plumtree, but not to be.
Big call there by Zinni McCormick. He was obviously in the best spot for it. It's cool as a cucumber. Paremata-Plimmerton have a defensive line out just 5 metres from their own goal line.
Well, it's a big moment in the game. And Coburn to throw. It's been secured. Carpenny fires it out to O'Meary. Ball's been taken into contact. We're now waiting the time. How much is left? Who's going to win the Swindale Shield? Clark bangs it downfield towards Wilson. Wilson watches it go into touch.
I see Ryan McLean there on the sideline trying to touch that ball, so the quick line out could have been taken, but he missed it, and OBU go quick.
Well, Ryan McLean is a referee, knows the rules pretty well. Here we go. Loose ball. It's messy. It's a penalty.
Offside.
Talk us through that one, Ethan.
I think he was accidentally offside, one of the OBU players. It came off someone, I'm not sure who it was, but he was obviously in front of his own player when he played the ball. And it looks like Hamish Mexted might be having a quiet word with the far side touchline just to get back off the sideline there. Ryan McLean obviously knows the rules, and if he had touched the ball, then OBU wouldn't have been allowed to go quickly.
It'll be nice to Paremata-Plimmerton. They've never won the Swindale Shield.
No, I'm not. It's more of a dig at Ryan, I suppose.
And they've got to go for a shot at goal here.
Fair enough. It's about 45 metres in front. Haven't seen too many long-range penalty goals in the Swindale Shield
Well,
this season.
Sam Clark, he kicked one of them last week, missed another. This one was a very similar distance to Ngāti Toa last week. Roughly 43 metres directly in front of the posts. It's been a lively game. Paremata-Plimmerton, sensing history is about to happen. Clark kicks it. It's got the distance. It's straight down the middle.
Sensational kick.
A brilliant kick from Sam Clark.
Yeah, it's a terrific nudge, and it's a nudge that might well win them the Shield.
For the first time in their history, Brad, it looks like they're going to have their name etched on the Swindale Shield for the first time ever. Which is
Oh,
awesome.
those club rooms at Ngāti Toa, they're just going to go off. I hope they've got enough barrels of beer.
Well, it's going to be a wet celebration here directly after the game, but there'll be an even bigger one at the club rooms, like you say.
There's a penalty here for Old Boys University.
Side entry.
The players are absolutely ragged.
Oh, that might not be out.
It's gone. No, it's just got in. Jack Sargentina had to squat down to see if that was going to go over the touch and ball line, but no, it didn't.
There might be something to watch out for in the second round too, Brad. I know the referees have been practicing their moves. You know, John Ballingall's a big advocate of the squat in the goal line.
Particularly side on too, I've heard. Here we go. Can Old Boys University salvage some pride? They secure it through Jack Riley, and they put the ball into quarantine. It's at the back. Gilbert is there. Paremata-Plimmerton want to keep them out. That's slow coming. They lunge forward. There's an advantage being played. Someone's head's in the way.
It's gonna be a
Move.
penalty try here.
Here we
Nice
go.
try.
It's a penalty. A try has been awarded. No try. It was knocked on, but they're coming for the penalty.
Well,
No try.
I wonder if that might have actually could have been a penalty try there. OBU had all the momentum of that maul.
The ball's been knocked on. Ball's been knocked on.
Is that full time?
And referee Mexted looks. He looks. He's talking.
Plimmerton are certain this is full time.
And it is. We're calling it full time. It is.
Yep.
History has happened here at Rugby League Park. Paremata-Plimmerton have won the Swindale Shield for the first time in their club's history. They're a merger of Paremata and Plimmerton. Paremata 46, Plimmerton 32. They merged in 1959, and finally they've got their name on the Swindale Shield. But you've got to hand it to All Boys University. Luke Dunlop, they were trailing at half-time, 33-12, and they nearly had a chance to win the game.
Absolutely, they clawed their way back. It was a valiant effort. They came close, but not close enough. It's all about the execution in the final stages of the game, and you saw that from Plimmerton down the end there, and they really scored that final try and put it beyond doubt. And then it was the monster kick from near enough the halfway line to put it beyond doubt.
And what a fantastic occasion. The Paremata faithful, they've been down the bottom of the table for a number of years, but they've turned the competition upside down, and they have finally won the Swindale Shield. Let's have some updates from some of the closing games in round 13.
Well, 2 completed fixtures so far. Oriental Rongotai 24, Upper Hutt Rams 23. So I think that might mean Upper Hutt miss out on a top 4 spot, but they'll make the Jubilee Cup.
Oris are safe.
Oris
They've won.
might be safe. Paniki 60 points to Wellington's 29. Tawa and North are still going, but Tawa will win that. At the moment it's 34-15, and Johnsonville got out to a lead of 18 points to 30 over Wainui. Huddle Boys Marist 69, Avalon 19, and Marist St Pat's Petoni's just been completed. Marist St Pat's 23, Petone 20.
Well, Marist St Pat's had to win, and those results may actually have resulted in Huddle Boys Marist missing out on the top 8. We're not too sure as of yet, as we still wait some games to finish. But what a brilliant occasion we've been experienced here today at Rugby League Park. We've seen a game that had it all. They had the passion, had the excitement, had the level of like a Jubilee Cup final. It really was exciting stuff. So, Ethan Loveridge and Luke Dunlop, great to have you on the broadcast today. Ethan, with your knowledge, and Luke, your first time ever in a commentary box, your experience.
Absolutely, it was a privilege to be here, a terrific experience, and thankfully a brilliant game here to finish. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you guys today, and what can you say? A terrific performance from Plimmerton. They take out the Shield.
Yep, sure was. Thanks, Brad. Thank you, Luke. It's been a wonderful game, and I know the Jubilee Cup's only 4 weeks away, the final, so it's going to be a pretty tight contest. I know that top 8 can all beat each other. Obviously, we saw Paremata-Plimmerton push today, and OBU could have won that game today, but Paremata-Plim were just a bit too strong in the end. So really looking forward to an exciting Jubilee and Hardham Cup as the season progresses. And again, big congratulations to Hamish Mexted on your 100th appointment.
So many thanks, Stephen Loveridge and Luke Dunlop. Also especially to our cameraman Dan Hicks, braving the elements all season. The second round is going to be interesting. It's going to be a pleasure to bring you those games, and we look forward to seeing the draw come out on Monday. It may change as much as many of the laws of rugby did this week in Wellington Rugby. I'm Brad Hudson. Ciao for now.